No. Excuse me, but I don't like the way you're speaking to me. Thank you, but I don't want that. Appreciate it. It's funny that we learn to say no from an early age, but as we get older, we're quite discouraged to use them. And think about these scenarios that you just heard. If you were walking past and you heard these, they're not comfortable situations. Everybody feeling a little bit tension, awkward. There's conflict at bay. People don't want that. But the problem is, if you don't learn to say no or to refuse, it's a costly thing. And it doesn't just cost you wealth, it costs you time, energy, and even your well-being. So we're going to look at two reasons why you need to start saying no. Firstly, saying no sets a standard for you. Picture this. You're in a scenario where all these friends are sitting, laughing, whatever, and then someone says to you, shut up. Now, it's rude, and we all know it's rude. Just because we let it pass doesn't mean we don't know it's rude. Think about it. If you were with your boss, you wouldn't tell your boss to shut up. Why? Because you know it's rude, you know it's offensive. Now, you're in that situation, what do? If you let it slide, you've actually okayed it now. From here on, you are saying, hey, you said it to me last time, I'm okay with it. But if it's not okay with you, and I don't think it should be, if it's not okay with you, you need to stand up right there and then. You can say, hey, I don't appreciate that way of speaking to me. I don't speak to you like that. Don't speak to me like that. Now, some people might look at you and say, hey, you're too sensitive. You need to make sure you are respected. Okay? Because think about it long term. That person learns to disrespect you there. Hey, next time you could be with your girlfriend or your boyfriend or whoever, and that person will disrespect you there. And what people will do is they'll work at little doses. So they'll start off with a little one, and then they'll increase it, and then they'll increase it. And you are okaying it. I remember a good story from the late Patrice O'Neill. He talked about once he was playing basketball, and while he was playing basketball, there was a guy on court who swore at him. Patrice O'Neill was like, didn't say anything. They kept playing. This guy started, giving him a bit more, being more aggressive. And Patrice O'Neill didn't say anything. This guy worked up more and more and more. Patrice O'Neill didn't stand up for himself. And then Patrice says when they went to the locker room, this guy pulled out a knife and asked Patrice O'Neill to give him some valuables. He got robbed. And Patrice says, that guy knew that even without a knife, he could have robbed me. Why? Because he didn't stand up for himself. So these were tests. And of course, it's an extreme situation, but it's like that in reality. People will test you with these little things, and you don't stand up for yourself. What happens is, all you needed to say was, no, I don't condole this. This is not for me. And then that's enough, because just as you feel awkward with conflict, they feel awkward with conflict too. So saying no makes you not susceptible to situations where you're a people pleaser, where you're a doormat, where you're a pushover. You keep your dignity, and yeah, it's uncomfortable to say it, but in the long run, you gain respect. People will look at you and say, hey, you know what? He or she stand up for themselves. They're dependable. I can depend on that kind of person. Whereas when you people please, when you are a pushover, even if you're a nice person, but people don't respect you. Reason number 2, you don't just say no to others. You have to learn to say no to yourself as well. What does that mean? One thing you need to learn to say no to yourself is no to pleasure. Pleasure is not bad, but if you don't learn to say no, it becomes your master. It becomes in control. And that's a big problem. The problem with that is you will no longer become efficient. For example, hey, I want to work on, I want to write a book. You get to your laptop or, wherever you write, and then that little voice in your head says, hey, how about we just watch an episode of some Netflix series? And then if you don't say no, you're not going to write that book. You will waste time, again and again. So you saying no, you've actually just restored your dignity to yourself. You will respect yourself more. You're gonna look at yourself and say, you know what, I'm efficient. I'm a doer. I'm an achiever. Unlike if you become a slave to your impulses, what will happen then? You become like that donkey with the carrot. That carrot, it looks like it's in reach, but it never is. And you're the one getting played by it. So learning to say no to your instant gratifications makes you a winner long term. And you know what's funny? If you learn to postpone those, short-term satisfactions, if you learn to do that, those pleasures they'll enhance. Think about it like this. You go for a 5 kilometer run or 10 kilometer run, and then you eat your favorite food, is a lot better, more satisfying than if you're sitting down all day and you're just like, oh. So the no actually enhances your sensations and gives you a sense of fulfillment. So saying no might feel uncomfortable in the short term, but long term, in these situations, it works.